This is the big news that happened in cricket. It was one of the most stinging attacks on the BCCI in the recent months, and it came in the report submitted today by the Supreme Court appointed Lodha panel. This report was on the implementation of the various recommendations and reforms that has been suggested by the panel to the BCCI. The panel, in fact, has slammed the BCCI in court, saying that the board has stalled reforms and is not willing to make changes, in fact, not even open to making changes. But what is most significant is that the panel asked for the entire top brass of the cricket board to be sacked, as they have been ignoring the various recommendations that has been put forward by the Lodha panel. The court has directed the BCCI to respond to the allegations of the Lodha committee. Supreme Court has slammed the BCCI for not implementing the Lodha recommendations, saying that their conduct has been in poor taste.
Changes we don't know. We are bound by the Supreme Court judgment. Supreme Court has accepted our recommendations, and to the extent that that has been accepted, we have been asked to ensure that they are complied with. So our task is limited, as per the Supreme Court judgment, to do two things. One, to draw the timelines for the implementation of the recommendation. Two, to supervise the implementation. So how we did: first we have drawn the timelines, handed it over to BCCI, and we have found that some of the actions which have been taken, they are not consistent with the recommendations, and therefore there are violations. This report, we have confined actually our observations to the BCCI's acts and omissions and commissions. We have made it very clear in the report that as regards state associations, should need arise, we will submit a separate status report. We have requested the court to pass an order, whatever is deemed fit. We have prayed that the present administrators, present office bearers be superseded, and panel of administrators be appointed. We have not recommended anything. It's for the court to decide who are the best persons, and whether there is any such necessity or not. All these decisions will be taken by the Supreme Court. When we submitted the report, they were recommendations. Then BCCI had full opportunity to oppose those recommendations, which they did, and hearing continued for months together. It was thereafter that the Supreme Court has accepted what they thought must be accepted, and on a couple of things where Supreme Court had reservations, they did not. Now, our report has merged into the Supreme Court judgment, and we are enforcing the judgment of the Supreme Court. Now, for your information, of course, of these three, we did have interaction with Kapil Dev before we submitted the report. We had interacted with 5 other former captains like Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, Rahul Dravid, Anil Kumble, Bishan Singh Bedi. Large number of other players like, Javgal Srinath, Venkatesh Prasad, Mohinder Nath. It's not that everyone had the same view. We had consulted all office bearers of BCCI, right from Jagmohan Dalmia to Shashank Manohar to Mr. Anirudh Thakur, Mr. Ajay Shirke, and large number. And also lots many other people. And then we recommended what we thought was good for the administration of cricket. And then every recommendation has been considered by the Supreme Court after hearing BCCI. They had full say. Now, if these three gentlemen have their views, they're most welcome. They are well-known players. They have understanding of cricket. But now what we have to do is to implement the Supreme Court judgment. It's not that we are, this is adversarial form of litigation where BCCI is fighting against the committee or committees, and there's nothing like that. We are doing a simple job. What court would have done, court assigned to the committee, and we are only discharging the brief which has been given by the Supreme Court. Nothing more, nothing less. But Parliament will do its job. It's ultimately the highest law-making body of the country. Absolutely what they do, they think is right, and we all must respect Parliament's business. I don't have to comment on that.
Okay, so that was RM Lodha, who spoke to us a short while back. Let's just also get you some more reactions that have been coming in. Let's just listen in to them.
We have just requested to clarify this. We are not saying no. Only question, main judgment said something and Lodha Sahib is saying something. So you want just clarification.
They feel that the Indian Constitution is nothing for them, the Supreme Court is nothing for them. So I'm very happy that the Supreme Court has taken a very stern position on this, and these people have to fall in line till the 6th of October. And if anybody does contempt of court, as they have already done, I'm surprised why none of them have been sent to jail so far.
The review petition, which has been filed by BCCI in defects mode, to just confuse the entire sporting world that our petition is pending. That's why we are not implementing the Lodha committee report. Chief Justice of India strongly told BCCI Council, why you people ignoring the reforms and order of Supreme Court?
Okay, let's go straight now to India Today's Shivani Gupta for more on this. Shivani, the big daddy of cricket receiving the Supreme Court rap for failing to implement the recommendations of the Lodha panel. What will the BCCI do next? What are their options?
Well, first of all, the BCCI strategy seems clear, Avantika, that they do want to willfully defy orders. They do want a showdown. They want the stakes to become, go higher and higher. Perhaps even force the Supreme Court's hand, to suspending them or appointing an ad hoc body to take over cricket if they willfully keep continuing to defy orders. They are meeting at the end of this month in a couple of days' time, and it remains to be seen exactly what line they're going to take, because so far they have decided to go all out against these reforms. Their deadline was September 30th to amend their constitution and bring in the reforms as asked for by the panel. That deadline is not going to be meted at all, and perhaps not even an extension at this point. So we have to wait and watch as to what they decide to do in this meeting when the big wigs come together. But it is clear that they do not want to fall in line. That is a clear strategy that they have adopted. Even, Justice Karju, whom they had brought in as someone to help understand the Lodha panel report, was slamming the Supreme Court and the Lodha panel. So we saw confrontation, especially from BCCI's side. So that's their strategy, and in that climate, clearly we won't hear the end of this matter very soon, Avantika.
But they're taking on the Supreme Court. In that scenario, if that is the intent to willfully defy the Supreme Court order, Shivani, can the Supreme Court go ahead and appoint administrators on the 6th?
Well, that's what the indication is, isn't it? Both the Lodha panel and the Supreme Court today said that, we have no problems in enforcing these reforms on you, and you will have no choice. So that's the kind of warning that the Supreme Court has given out. Of course, they have the authority, although many have questioned that, but it has been done in the past with certain other bodies, when bodies have been, when ad hoc bodies have been formed. Although in this regard, that could backfire as well, because the BCCI comes under the ICC. It can clearly say they don't have or need any government intervention, and government or, Supreme Court interventions are not looked at as very favorable for sports bodies, because then the ICC might have to take its own action, and the BCCI might even want it at this point, because any action against the BCCI as a body which invites any more suspensions or sanctions will actually start impacting the cricket. So far, this is just about administration. The cricket is functioning. As long as the cricket is not impacted, things can be handled. But once that happens, it can go completely out of hand.
Absolutely, Shivani. Let's see what happens from here on. For now, thanks so much for joining us.